Welcome to Module 2, Information Fluency and Blogging. In this session, learners will compare both credible and incredulous information sources, determine evaluative criteria and strategies to determine information reliability, analyze blogs as a digital tool for authentic communication with students, and explore educational blogs that share professional knowledge, strategies, and tools for instruction. The digital age has provided us with incredible wonders. We can shop in our pajamas. We can have our groceries delivered. We can share videos, photos, and messages instantly with our family and friends. We can find Mr. or Mrs. Right, or even right now, with an app. Soon we will be able to download information directly to our brains from the cloud. Learning is experiencing the same shift. The digital landscape can provide us with just-in-time learning and instant information. However, it has also provided the digital generations with new challenges. Veles, Macedonia. In the final weeks of the U.S. presidential election, Veles attained a weird infamy in the most powerful nation on earth. Stories in The Guardian and on BuzzFeed revealed that the Macedonian town of 55,000 people was the registered home of at least 100 pro-Trump websites, many of them filled with sensationalist, utterly fake news. The imminent criminal indictment of Hillary Clinton was a popular theme. Another was the Pope's approval of Trump. The site's ample traffic was rewarded handsomely by automated advertising engines like Google AdSense. Within Veles itself, young teenage entrepreneurs behind these websites became subjects of tantalizing intrigue. Between August and November, one youth earned nearly $16,000 off his two Trump websites. The average monthly salary in Macedonia is $371. These young teenagers simply copy-pasted and shared thousands of sensational articles read by millions of Americans to make money. And they did. I wonder how many people were persuaded by their fake news. Teacher Natalie Monroe makes no excuses for writing blog posts about her students, which include statements like a complete and utter jerk in all ways. Although academically okay, your child has no other redeeming qualities. I hear the trash company is hiring, and there's no other way to say this. I hate your kid. The school superintendent says her complaints were very egregious and certainly could result in termination. Monroe's attorney, Steve Rovner, insists that Monroe's First Amendment right is being violated. There is no internet policy at her school district. She was free to write and free to express herself. It was like a personal diary. She didn't do anything wrong. Some people don't like what they have to write, but she's being censored for what she wrote, her lawyer said. She was suspended but got her job back. Her saving grace is that she didn't use her students' last names. In August 2009, Ashley Payne, the then 24-year-old, resigned from her job at Appalachia High School after someone claiming to be a parent sent an email complaining about pictures of Payne smiling while holding alcoholic drinks during a trip to Europe. As of 2013, she was seeking an appeal. On last chance, she couldn't unfortunately get her job back because she resigned. She was not fired. Grace's Law is named after a Howard County teen who committed suicide after being bullied online. The bill now makes it a crime to bully minors on social media. For 15-year-old Grace McComas, social media was the source of constant torture. Online bullies would bombard her with messages like, "I hope you die, go kill yourself." Today, there is an increasing awareness of and emphasis being placed upon what is commonly known as digital citizenship. These skills are increasingly seen as important for life in the modern world. However, as educators who teach students in both face-to-face and online settings, we believe we must not only focus on one without also focusing on the other. Instead of digital citizenship skills, we refer to them as global citizenship skills. It is an absolute imperative to develop highly ethical, moral citizens who conduct themselves appropriately in both real-world and digital settings. Historically, introducing the fundamental tenets of citizenship has been an integral part of the K-12 curriculum. However, the world has changed. As a result, now, without devaluing the importance of traditional citizenship, we must also account for the skills necessary for life in the new digital landscape. You wouldn't give the keys to your car to a kid without first showing them how to drive, having them obtain a driver's license, outlining your expectations, and identifying the consequences of inappropriate actions. Today, in the digital age, we give kids access to powerful tools and resources such as the internet, smartphones, and other digital devices without proper guidance, and some of them inevitably do stupid things. Why in the world would we do that without providing them with the guidance necessary to develop the skills needed to face the new challenges of life in the modern world? That's what global citizenship should be all about. Global citizenship is about protecting yourself, protecting others, and protecting the work of others in both the real and online worlds. Global citizenship is a set of ever-changing social conventions about how people should act. Schools already do a pretty good job of modeling traditional citizenship skills. However, thanks to the digital age, we must also assist our learners in developing netiquette, basic courtesies, and privacy considerations. A community-held set of rules and practices for face-to-face and online conversations, email, texts, web browsing, social networking, as well as behavioral expectations when using online tools. More than anything else, as students grow, they must cultivate an understanding of ethics and a sense of accountability that begins with the individual and expands to the global level. Today, we live in a world awash in enormous amounts of data. Today's students, teachers, and global citizens must learn how to use information to survive and thrive in today's world, while simultaneously acting ethically and morally. We live in an age of infowhelm, where even our daily newspapers arrive already out of date. Because of exponentialism, information has now become a temporary and disposable commodity. Yes, information does have a value. In fact, many see information as the new oil, but it also just about perishable as fruit. It has a value today, but many to be discarded if it's not used by tomorrow. Let me try to put infowhelm quickly into perspective for you. In 2003, researchers at the University of Clarksville, Berkeley tried to total the globe's information production by adding up all the zeros and ones that make up photos, videos, PDF files, email, web pages, instant messages, phone calls, and other stuff. In 2003, their estimate was that digital content throughout the infoscope had generated 5 exabytes. That's 5 exabytes of data. When they recalculated in 2009, it had become 500 exabytes of digital information. There has been a 10,000% increase in 6 years. So let's consider for a moment, what would 500 exabytes look like? For example, if we printed all our stuff in books, how many books would that be? What do you think? Empire State Building? Mount Everest? The moon? That's a big stack, about 250,000 miles. How many of you believe it would be more? How about the sun? That's 93 million miles for all of you math and science teachers. That's a big stack. Does anyone think it's more? Okay, let's get really crazy. How about if we make a stack of books all the way to Jupiter? How about a stack of books past Saturn? Okay, this is getting ridiculous. How about a stack of books all the way to the edge of the solar system to that not really a planet, Pluto? Does anyone believe it's that many books? To put 500 exabytes into perspective, it would be 13 stack of books that would each reach from the Earth to Pluto. Every year, these figures are from 2009 too. Since then, it's estimated that the numbers have been doubling every 2 years. The amount of information in the world has quite literally exploded. To give you an idea of just how much information is now and will be available, a report written by IDC Corp projected that by the year 2025, the total amount of worldwide data will reach 163 zettabytes. A zettabyte equals 1,000 exabytes, equals 1 million petabytes, equals 1 billion terabytes, or 1 trillion gigabytes. In other words, a lot of data. Having way too much time on our hands, we calculated that if you printed out all that data in standard sized books and piled them up, there would be so much data in 163 zettabytes that the stack of books would extend into outer space. In fact, we've calculated that this stack would extend all the way to the edge of the solar system to that planet, or maybe not, Pluto. But wait a minute, we're just not talking about one stack. Now 163 zettabytes would equal 4,165 stacks of books that each reach from Earth to Pluto. By any measure, that's an absolutely overwhelming amount of information. Any more information, and we'd have to be measuring this stuff in light years. This chart shows the world's growth for both analog data, books, newspapers, videotapes, etc., and digital data, web-based CDs, DVDs, digital photos, videos, PDF files, etc. Between 1986 and 2000, there was almost no digital information. Between 2000 and 2013, digital information absolutely overwhelmed analog sources. And according to a report, 90% of the data was produced in just the last 2 years, and we are just getting started. Imagine what we will be saying 3 years from now. Trying to wade through information without a sense of structure is like going to a large library and aimlessly combing the shelves for a particular book. Once you have a sense of how the whole is organized, you will reduce the frustration of searching for a needle in a haystack. Even if the needle is all that you need, you should know how the hay is organized. If our students are going to operate in an age of infowhelm, they need to be informationally fluent. Why, you ask? In 1957, the BBC show Panorama broadcasted a program about the spaghetti tree in Switzerland. It showed a family harvesting pasta that hung from the branches of the tree. After watching the program, hundreds of people phoned in asking how they could grow their own pasta tree. Alas, it was an absolute April Fool's Day joke. Osama bin Laden's death resulted in millions of bin Laden-laden tweets every hour on Twitter. Thousands of those related tweets included a powerful quote attributed to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. A Facebook user, a 25-year-old Penn State graduate who now teaches English to middle school students in Japan, posted a very timely and moving thought on her Facebook status, and then followed it up with the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. quote. The misinformation was not intentional, just a simple message changed through reposts. So only half of the quote was actually from Dr. King. Let's stick with Dr. King for a few more minutes. MartinLutherKing.org, a true historical examination, is a site that appears to be at first glance about the great civil rights leader, where you learn that he was a drunken philandering, communist, wife-beater, plagiarist, sexual deviant, and all-around fraud. There's an educational video, a flyer students can download and take to school, that advocates the abolishment of Martin Luther King Day. It only if you scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, you see that the web page is hosted by a place called Stormfront, otherwise known as the White Nationalist Party, which I am proud to report is now inactive, although the Dr. King site is still active. It's only then that you begin to understand the perspective MartinLutherKing.org is coming from. Our students need to be skeptics and understand that while this technology is enabling it, is often filled with misinformation slanted by bias, mistakes, and outdated information. Now consider this website, www.dhmo.org, the Dihydrogen Monoxide Research Division. The site investigates the dangers posed by the chemical dihydrogen monoxide and the controversy surrounding this compound. The site links to various legitimate websites, including the CDC and Green Party of New Zealand. It has a PayPal system that allows the viewer to contribute to the cause. Water. Yes, it causes environmental damage. Yes, it's found in cancer cells. And yes, it is used in the production of nuclear weapons. But this site, created by 3 students at the University of California, is a great example of misinformation or incomplete information. As educators, we must teach our students to be more wary of the information they find online. There's a process educators can use with students to combat misinformation, myth-information, and fake news while using modern learning research skills. What is information fluency? Information fluency is the ability to unconsciously, intuitively interpret information in all forms and formats to extract the essential knowledge, perceive its meaning and significance, and use it to complete real-world tasks. What is information fluency? Information fluency is the ability to unconsciously, intuitively interpret information in all forms and formats to extract the essential knowledge, perceive its meaning and significance, and use it to complete real-world tasks. The 9 A's of information fluency. There are 9 distinct steps to the information fluency process. They are ask, audience, access, authenticate, assemble, apply, assess, analyze, and action. What follows is a brief overview of the steps of the process. Ask. Ask good questions about exactly what challenge or problem needs to be solved, and give proper context to the problem. Next is audience. Identify the target audiences affected by the problem and those who can help solve the problem. Access. Research, gather, curate, and organize the data gathered about the problem from a variety of digital and non-digital sources. Authenticate. Analyze, authenticate, and arrange the data, separating fact from fiction, opinion, and bias. In the process, turning data into knowledge. Assemble. Create a step-by-step plan that lays out the process for solving a problem, define the roles of participants, and map out a timeline for completion. Apply. Complete the product and present it to the intended audience. Assess. Assess and evaluate both the product and the process. Analyze. Reflect on each step of the process and the product. And finally, action. Identify next steps and take action on your reflections and solutions. By completing this process, learners have the ability and the opportunity to use information for modern-day learning. The next time you develop a lesson or activity heavy in research, try to incorporate the 9 A's. Next, we move on to blogging for learning and professional development. The worldwide implementation of e-learning in K-12 and higher education institution has seen blogs become an emerging writing tool. Blogs are internet-based. They are a way of integrating technology with learning and teaching inside and outside the classroom. They have proven to be relatively easy to use. This presentation highlights the benefits of using blogs as a learning and teaching tool. It also looks at the disadvantages of blogging. Experiences of using blogs will be shared and recommendations will be made on how the potential benefits of blogging can be exploited in a quest to enhance learning and teaching in your classroom. Some important academic language includes blogs. The term is a shortened version of weblog. It is a personal online publishing system which allows individuals to write and publish their opinions, thoughts, and feelings on the internet on any subject they fancy. Blog posts. These are individual articles posted on a blog. They are also simply known as posts or entries. Blogging, the act of writing a blog, maintaining it, or adding an article to an existing blog. Blogger, a person who posts entries on a blog. Blogging is motivated by the possibility to share knowledge with others without necessarily being in the same space. For learners, blogs can offer convenience in that they can be accessed not only on campus but also from home or other facilities outside the university or school. Blogs can be a useful platform for instructors in that they allow them space and opportunity to interact with their students as well as collaborate with their fellow academics or other often professionals they may wish to share information with. Some special characteristics of blogs: they're user-friendly. No technical knowledge is required to write a blog. Their interactivity. Readers can read and respond to posts in the comments section. Organization and structure. Each post is automatically placed correctly. Real-time distribution. Latest information is published both instantly and automatically. And finally, internal and external links. Blogs thrive by links and references to other articles and sites. Using a lens of a teacher seeking professional development. Here is an example of one blog post I wrote last year. Just as an example, as a reader of this post, try to go into it thinking about the takeaways that you might get from the post, both intellectual and pragmatics, to potentially apply it to your classroom. Visit the site and read the article. The link is included. What was the purpose? Did you learn anything new? Can you apply it to your teaching or professional practices? Blogs offer the following potential benefits. They are a combination of solitary and social interaction. They enable students with various personalities to participate in a discussion, especially those who did not participate actively in class. Students get into the habit of reading and writing, which improves their skills. They give space for collaboration. They promote critical and analytical thinking. They are powerful tools to enable scaffolding of learning. They give lecturers the opportunity to explore how students feel about the quality of learning and teaching, and help in finding ways of addressing the identified problems. Some potential disadvantages include blogging requires a considerable amount of time to update and post entries. Blogging may not be a feasible option for students who have limited or no access to a computer and the internet. There is no confidentiality as blogs are a public forum. Since blogs are internet-based, students gain access to a whole world of information as soon as they log in, and this may divert their attention away from the discussion. Some recommendations include: give clear instructions and outcomes of the exercise. Set clear expectations, guidelines regarding language use, the tone, and respect and consequences of not adhering. Allow students adequate time to post and edit entries. Give encouraging feedback as students continually work on their blogs. Rubrics should be developed for grading purposes and communicated to students from the onset so they know how the blog will be evaluated. Here are 28 blogging sites on professional development in teaching, learning, and assessment. As an activity, pause the video and search and find some of these sites. Which do you like and are most relevant to you? Is there one not on the list that you feel you need to share with others? Throughout the course, you will be required to find good professional development articles and complete entries in the discussion forums. You should provide a clear and concise summary of the article's content, basically sharing the main points. Include a title, hyperlink, and the author of the post. Cite direct quotes or big ideas from the article used in the summary. For example, some APA citations are included to show you the format. Analyze the articles. What are some of the key takeaways? The importance of to you and for education. There's no length requirement. To get full credit for your post, you must select 2 of your colleagues' posts to reply to. This will make it more of a collaborative project and will encourage others to read and learn. After watching this presentation, read and watch the materials included under Reading and Resources for Module 2. Complete your first blog analysis in the discussion forum. Remember to select an article from a PD blog, read it, summarize it, and share its potential applications for you or education. Select 2 of your colleagues' posts to reply to with meaningful comments, ideas, reflections, and so on. There will be 10 throughout the course, and each are valued at 2 points. Consult the syllabus for a schedule.